Five Nights at Freddy's Security Breach was first... You motherf... Five Nights at Freddy's Security Breach was first announced back in 2019 and later released with little to no info on the game in 2021. And to everyone's surprise, the game was extremely buggy, causing you to die when you shouldn't, clip to the map, or even stunt any progression of the game, effectively soft-locking the player. Now in 2025, I see people saying, Security Breach was truly never that bad. It was a good game. We were being too harsh on it. We needed to take a better look at it. And I have had my own bias against this game, so I want to see if that's true or not. This review is going to be cut into two sections. The first is how the game was on release, because games should be judged on how they were when they were first released, not ended up fixing it or not. I know the sentiment has been stated multiple times, but a game should never be released in an unplayable condition. And sadly, that is how this game was released. There were so many bugs in the base version of this game that people made it a challenge to beat the game without seeing a single bug, which could take hours and hours of playtime before you can do that. And if it were just bugs you had to go out of your way to find, then I'd be more forgiving with this game. But that isn't the case. The majority of the bugs you will come across in the game happen by just playing the game, such as, broken animatronic AI, soft locks, the entire map just deloading in front of you, clipping out of the map, or certain sections of the map that are supposed to work that just don't. No game should ever be released like this. The only positive thing I can say about the bugs in this game is that it created one of my favorite speedrunning games of all time. I used to grind out speedruns for this game because they were quick and frankly really fun to do. But sometimes the bugs in a normal playthrough could also be funny as well, adding a little bit of entertainment to the game, trying to see how well you could break this game. It's always a fun challenge. But that's about as positive as I could be about this game in its original state. Moving on from bugs, the gameplay in this is just downright awful. Once you realize you can outrun the animatronics, they're no longer an obstacle, which is horrendous because they're supposed to be the main threats, not something you just kind of have to walk around. Instead, you're more worried about where you are on the map, because how the hell am I supposed to tell where I am? This map is somehow worse than Pokemon Scarlet and Violet's map, which is a tough feat, so good job, Steelwool. Then when you have quote-unquote puzzles you have to solve, most of the time it's just trying to figure out where to go, except for one singular puzzle, the Monty Maze. Unless you memorize the movements or follow a guide, you are usually sitting there trying to figure out the puzzle for 20 to 30 minutes. It is genuinely one of the worst parts of the game, so surely there must be something to redeem this shit show. The gameplay is bad, it is completely unpolished, even the map is bad. I don't know how you fuck up a map that bad. So, what about the story? The story is worse than the gameplay. This one isn't Steelwool's fault, and more of Scott's fault for not, communicating with them. Still doesn't change the fact that the story is super convoluted, and they set up a main villain in the game before Security Breach just for her to not show up. And also, when she does show up, it is extremely small, and they made an entire boss dedicated to her where you don't even see her. The normal animatronics are a bigger threat than her. There isn't even a mention of Glitch Trap besides the single drawing in the Endo's training room. It took one DLC, one game, and 8 books for us to finally start understanding even a tiny bit of what this game was trying to tell us. So, overall, this game has no redeeming factors. You can't even say the graphics because they removed half of the decorations and you can't play this game without anything higher than weak graphics without your computer becoming a space heater.
What the?
There isn't a single ounce of horror in this game. It is an awful experience in every form. What about the newest version of the game? They surely had to fix some of those problems, right?
No! 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 No!
After they fixed all the bugs in the game, it somehow made the game actually worse. There was no more fun speedrunning. There was no more funny bugs that could happen to give you a quick laugh. It just became Fetch Quest Simulator. Run to here, run back to here, run to here, grab this item, and now run back to the other side of the map. It was all tedious. There was no shortcuts anymore, because all the bugs were the shortcuts. There was nothing to laugh at anymore, because all the funny bugs got removed. There was no speedrunning anymore, because even though all the bugs that were used for speedrunning, you had to go out of your way to achieve, they still got rid of it. There's nothing for there to be an interruption from this shitty gameplay. Because of how buggy the game used to be, you could look at the bugs, and you kind of ignored the gameplay. Now with all that out, now you just have shitty gameplay. Somehow they managed to make a game where the bugs are so bad, it ruins the game, but the bugs are also so good that it fixed the game while ruining it. Other than that, they didn't make any changes to the story or gameplay that improved the game at all. I don't even want to talk about the cameras. Cameras, like, I didn't even add this in the script. I'm going off script here. Those cameras are generally the most dog shit game mechanic I've ever seen in my entire life. They were never useful, not once. And they even showed it off in a trailer. Fans were upset because it looked awful. They assured fans they would be fixing it, and then they didn't. So, I don't know how one of the main gameplay mechanics of the entire series gets put in like an afterthought and treated with little to no care, but, you know, that's security breach for you. Long story short, this game's ass. All around, for so many reasons, and by the faults of many, many different people. Just because it's hated for pretty valid reasons doesn't mean that you should just say it was unappreciated and was a hidden gem. It was a game that had no reason to be released when it was, and hopefully has learned from this when they try to make a game in the style again, like Secret of the Mimic. That looks like they took all the problems that Security Breach had and applied it to Secrets of the Mimic. That genuinely looks like it's going to be a fun and maybe potentially scary game. I'm very excited to play that. Anyway, like and subscribe.